Good afternoon, TVR Chimaera fans. I've got an exciting box that's arrived. Here we go. From Rally Design in the UK, my new intercooler, which is going to go in the TVR. So that's going to go basically in here. At the moment, I've got this turbo installed, just finished the manifold, and currently running basically pipework straight from the turbo straight into the inlet, but which is absolutely fine for small amounts of boost. I'm basically only running 4 psi currently at the moment, but obviously for safety and future inevitable upping of boost rates, I'm going to want to put an intercooler in. So that's the next stage of this build. It's going to go in the front, obviously, and you can see there's plenty of room in front of the radiator there too. I don't know if you can see that, it's a bit hazy, but nice big cavernous gap in the front of there to accept the intercooler. I could have gone actually a bit bigger. This one is a 500 by 280 by 76, and it's got 63 mil 2.5 inch, yeah, 2.5 inch outlets. And unusually, what I was really looking for was the top side inlet and outlet, because that's going to be the easiest to install in the front of the Chimaera, because I basically want the outlets to come out here on the bonnet, which is going to be by far the easiest way to marry up with the existing induction pipe work and the turbo. So basically all I've got to do is take a line from there into a hole there, and the same into there. It's far simpler than trying to route induction pipe work all the way through the body, round through the front, and then back out through where the old inlet used to go. This is a better idea. I was really restricted doing it that way anyway, because I've got my steering pump here in the middle where the expansion bottle used to go, and the expansion bottle is now in the place where you want to route that pipe work through anyway. So this is a better solution. There are going to be drawbacks, I think, with this, because there's a possibility that by exiting the pipe work here on the front, I'm going to have fouling problems on the bonnet, which is currently dismantled over there on top. But I think I can get around that. I've seen this done before with supercharged builds and also other turbo builds, so I think I'm going to be okay with this. It's just a case of the absolute worst is going to be modifying the strut that's on the inside of that on that bonnet. So I think we're okay. So first job is find out how to mount it. Let's see, it's got some very nice mounting positions there. Seems to be a very nice intercooler there. So this is one of the only ones I could find with that top and bottom sort of inlet and outlet on the top rather than the sides. It's got a nice RMD logo on the stamped into the back there. Waving the camera around madly. There we go. So as I said, you could probably get a 600 by 300 intercooler, but to be honest, I think that's overkill on this application. I've got a T04E turbo, and I think a 500 mil by 280 is more than man enough for anything I'm going to chuck at it. So I think that should work pretty well. A little bit tricky. Had a bit of trouble getting the steering pump out the way, but that's all done. Yeah, those of you that are familiar with the TVR Chimaera radiator will have probably already spotted that isn't a standard radiator. Probably a subject for a different YouTube, but that's actually off a Ford Transit van, and which is a really good swap for the standard radiator. And if you're like me and a bit tight, you don't want to pay £650 for a recore. you can basically get almost 10 of those for the same price. And that works really well. But more about that maybe in another YouTube. But for now, we have space. Get the camera in there. So we can start looking at the build of the intercooler. So that's all looking good. Might get rid of some of that coolant that's hanging around, but yeah, let's see if we can get it in position, see what it looks like. Well, it fits, kind of. There you go. So I've got my horns in the way at the moment, so those have got to come out. I'll have to relocate those somewhere, but we'll work that out. But the good news is it fits, sort of. There's plenty of space there. We just got to get things mounted. But you get the idea. There's plenty of space, top and bottom. And width-wise, we're really good as well. Just got to get rid of those, undo these 2 bolts for the horn assembly and just get rid of that. Worry about where to relocate that afterwards, but we'll go from there. What is perfectly aligned should be really much maligned in the eyes of those who've lived a while. Drop a stone into this pool. Okay, there we go. That's what it's going to look like, sort of. Horns are out of the way. So next job is we've got to mount it. So we're going to get some brackets made, and we're going to have to cut 2 big holes in here, which is going to be scary but necessary. So we need to pick up these centres and basically find a way of mounting that with some bracket to the top, and then basically also to the bottom to give it some strength. It's not the heaviest thing in the world, but it's heavy enough to need support top and bottom. So that's the next stage, basically. Quick view of the front. So it's just about the right size, really. It's nice. Fits really well. So let's get it a bit better. Quick update what I'm doing. So I'm trying to build some mounts basically now for the intercooler, and I've just picked up these centres. So we've got 400mm, can't really see from that, 400mm centres on the top of the intercooler there, which I've drilled into the scuttle of the bonnet. Don't worry about the chipping and stuff, because this is all going to get resprayed once I've got this bottomed out and the holes cut and everything. And in my box of bolt spares, I found a couple of M8 bolts, and I'm just cutting them down now to the right length to fit, and that's now just about right. So I've got that mounted on a piece of wood. Don't know if you can see that, but that's picking up. Just about see that maybe, but just picking up that centre there. And to damp down the vibration, I'm going to reuse these little bushes that I found hanging around. So I can mount that in there. These are a bit tidied up. Put an M8 bolt on there. Oh. And those will fit through there like that. And once they're tightened, and then it will tighten into the intercooler and hold that in place. And that should look nice. And the hole is going to be around about there for the outlet. But let's get it positioned before we go to the drastic step of cutting holes in everything. But that's the plan. So I just need to cut that bolt down to the same length as that one, just trial fit it all up, and we should be in business. That's the scary bit done. Not a nice feeling taking a 3-inch hole saw to your pride and joy, but I think I've got away with it. That's now fitted onto the intercooler. I haven't got the bolts. I did test do up the bolts to the connecting on those centres there, supporting them, but those are undone again to drill the big holes, so I've got to reattach those again, but I think those will be okay. And then it's a case of doing a similar sort of thing here with these top bolts on the bottom, and it then should all be nicely supported. But yeah, I'm pleased with that. That's going in the right direction. As I say, this scuttle is all going to be painted. Not sure whether I'm going to leave it like this or whether I put some sort of nice stainless steel ring round it, which would be quite nice, but we'll have a look at, I think about that. Maybe I can have a look on eBay and see if there's any nice sort of 3-inch finishing rings or something like that in stainless, which would be quite attractive on that bit. But yeah, it's all good. The fiberglass is pretty thick there actually. There's a disc that came out of that hole. I don't think there's going to be any issues with support, but I am slightly worried about the whole weight of the intercooler being on these two rubber bobbins. But I think if I brace it with the two on the downside as well, underneath there, I don't think I'm going to have too many problems. I might even put a reinforcing piece underneath there, but we'll see what it feels like when it's done up. But yeah, good, all going well. Another Saturday in the workshop, and I'm making good progress, I think, on the intercooler. I went through the scary procedure of drilling the holes, and those line up pretty well. I've had to slot these ones because they didn't quite fit, but I'm going to cover those up. That's not a problem, with what I think will be my collection of spares, something like this, which will slot into the top. Tidy those up. This panel's going to be painted, so that's not a problem. And I'm just at the moment finishing off the bottom mount, which I've devised with some threaded 8mm bar, or basically a long screw with the head chopped off, screwed into the centres on the intercooler, and then inadvertently I've invented a genius height system. By virtue of this big washer and a screw, I can adjust this and basically adjust the intercooler up and down to get to the perfect height here. So I'm just leveling that up now. Once that's in place, screw the top screws in, those ones there, and it should be pretty secure. And then I've just got to secure it from underneath. Just about see those. Focus. Those long screws sticking out, which I'll chop off and put a nylock on the bottom of that, and then it should be all done. So let's get it finished. Okay, that's the mounts done. So that's feeling quite secure now. So time to get the radiator back in. Well, it's not fitting very well. I've got it roughly in, but something's not quite aligned, and I think the steering pump's got wedged underneath that rail, so a bit of fettling required, but we'll get there. But it gives you a good idea where we're going. Everything looks reasonably okay, clearance wise and everything, so let's just get it a little bit closer on that radiator fit. There we go, all installed. Radiator's back in, all mounted again. The steering pump was the problem. It was basically fouling the cowlings on the electric fans, but managed to get that sorted and pushed down in position. I've got to refit the expansion bottle. I haven't done that yet, and I've also got to refit the horns, which are flapping around inside at the moment. So I need to drill another hole in the slam panel there to fit those. But yeah, it's looking good. The intercooler is nice and rigid and mounted on those brackets at the bottom of the top. So we're looking good. So next job is we need to trial fit the bonnet, which is up there. So I'm going to need assistance for that and see whether we've got clearance on these pipes. And that's going to be a bit scary, but we'll see. Hopefully it'll be all right. If it doesn't quite fit, there's not enough clearance, I can probably shave a little bit more off the top of these fins on the radiator here, which aren't used. I've done that already on this side, and that's got that pipe a little bit lower, so hopefully that'll be okay. Before, my pipe was resting on there, so I'm hoping that there's still plenty of clearance, enough clearance for these two pipes that are sticking up the front. But, we shall see.